Hiya, folks. This is Rick Emmett of Triumph.
This is Mark Merrill, also known as Johnny B. Bad.
Hi, this is a best-selling author. I threw the best-selling there. Best-selling author Dick Wybrow.
I'm Melanie from Second Shooter.
This is Jeff with Second Shooter.
Hey everybody, it's Brian Allen from Bridges Ablaze.
Hey, this is Sammy Lee, drummer of the band Red Rain.
Yo guys, it's Mark McKay.
Hey, this is Frank Fletcher.
Hola amigos, this is Billy Sheehan.
Hey guys, this is John Karabi.
Hi, this is Jim Valance.
What's up everybody, it's Logan from All the Pretty Things.
Hey guys, it's Leather Leone.
This is Nothing from Inside the Trojan Horse.
What's up guys, Cassandra Carson here from Paralandra and the Life Project.
My name's Reggie, and you are listening to the Weekly Pour podcast. Thanks so much for joining the most amazing twosome out there.
It's time once again for the Weekly Pour, the show that knows everything about absolutely nothing. Here are your hosts, TBT and Ace.
That's us. I am TBT. That guy over there is Ace. Welcome, and I apologize for sounding like a moron. But for some reason, my microphone decided to stop working, and I'm going to blame the rain because it's been beautiful all day long.
Right.
Until about 5 minutes ago.
And Milli Vanilli had it right. You blame it on the rain.
Exactly. I don't care who sang it. They were right. So, yeah. Well, I don't know what the deal is.
I hate it when things that are normally reliable that you don't have to think about, like our setup. Mine is even simpler than yours.
Right.
And I come on the air. I'm set up, ready to go. We start to talk for a minute. I can't hear a word you're saying.
Yeah, exactly.
Terrible.
I know. And you're off center. I didn't have time to get you centered. You got way too much up top. It's all over the place. It's almost like we've only been doing this for 5 years.
No kidding. No kidding.
You would think we could get it right, but we can't. I don't even know why I'm leaning into this microphone when it ain't working. So I might as well just cut it off. So my apologies if I sound like crap or don't sound normal or too loud or whatever. It's not my fault. It's Michael Jackson's fault. It always is.
Well, if you had the production engineer there, I mean, this wouldn't be a problem.
Holy moly. Yeah, like I have this thing plugged in. I can see all of the mics, and I've got 9 of them into the system. But the one I use, it's not popping up. I bet you all I have to do is a reset. And unless we lose power, I'm not doing a reset. Yeah. So we're just going to roll like this. So it's bad when the moderator calls us amateurs. That's fine. Consider the source. Although I am going to play golf with her tomorrow.
Really? You play golf?
Not really. Hell no, I don't play pasture pool. Not happening.
Never heard it called that.
Yeah. I mean, you take a ball on the pasture and you try to get it in the hole, right? That's pasture pool.
So why did you mention it then?
Because it was the fun thing to do.
I didn't know if she had plans, and this is your way of just letting her down hard.
No, it's really just because I'm aggravated.
I think it would be funny to get her out on a golf course.
It probably would. But anyway, let me get this normal stuff out of the way. Welcome to episode 183 of the Weekly Pour podcast. Again, I am TBT. That guy's Ace right over there, closer to me because he's not centered, but that's how things go. Lots of news to get into tonight, even though it took all week long to get some stuff to talk about. But we're going to be pulling in some. Why do you keep scooting the wrong way?
Because you're not here to tell me where to go.
I am here.
But you're talking.
Oh, my goodness. We're going to bring you stuff from AlterBridge, of course, Poison. Some interesting stuff regarding Ozzy. Judas Priest, if we get to that, we'll talk about that. And we're also going to discuss President, because they let out some pretty big news just the other day. So we'll get into that.
With Iran? That's in the news.
What?
You said the president.
I didn't say the president. I said president. So we'll get into that, which is again, like I said, it's pretty big news. I was all excited because number one, we have the show tonight. Number two, it was a beautiful day, 80 degrees, sun shining, clouds here and there. And then, like I said, 5 minutes ago, we get nothing but rain. So if you're watching this, which I forgot to mention, if you're watching this, do me a favor and be sure to jump into the chat and say hi. We've got a bunch of our regulars in there now, even though everything I've got is absolutely running ridiculously slow. If you're in the chat, say hi. Do what?
I show one person. Oh, now three.
Yeah, it's so confusing. It's a little bit all over the place. Chat, let me know. Let me know how I sound. Don't be a smartass, but let me know how I sound. Do I need to turn up my volume, or what do I need to do? Anybody? We'll give them like a second, because I know you can hear me. You can hear me
sound
fine.
Great.
See, Mama TBT jumps in and says I sound fine. So that must mean that the microphone that's actually attached to this computer works.
Yes.
So the fact
you
that
sound now,
when did I not sound great?
Now.
She says great now. Like when was I not sounding great?
So now she's saying throw out the microphone and never use it again.
I don't know. Is that what she's saying? I need clarification, please.
That's what I thought.
My gosh. It was, what is that word?
Sticky? Staticky?
Staticky?
Staticky.
Staticky. It was staticky before. Well, I'm sorry it was staticky.
I thought you were staticky also.
Oh, yeah. Very staticky. But here we are. Staticky. Gosh, this is a freaking train wreck of an episode for 183. 182 of them were, well, the first 10 probably sucked, but so the last 172 have been pretty good, and today's just a train wreck, but we don't care. That's what we do. We have train wrecks and we keep going. You look like your camera's looking down on you, and it's irritating the crap out of me.
I could fix it. What would you like me to do?
Nothing. I like it. Because yeah, that's what you need to do. You need to cover it the whole time. Just like that.
Just like that.
Like that.
Have you ever went back, like say a YouTube show that you might like, and go back to the very beginning because you missed those episodes 5 years ago?
Yeah, I did that with ours.
Just to see how different it is, and instead of a nice set that they have set up there in a broom closet or in their car or something like that, I love that. I love it.
It's great stuff.
Look how far you've come.
Right. Speaking of that, like we don't change our backgrounds very often. It's either I'm in one spot or I'm in another. Same with you. You're either in one spot or another. What does change for us are basically our logos. And I just came up with a couple more while I was waiting for you to come in.
Really? Because that one you have up there was really cool.
Yeah, that's the one I'm sticking with for right now. I think it's very representatious of the show. It's not very staticky. So can you get staticky testicles?
I think I've had those.
Or would that be a staticky swath?
But I mean, the doctor gave me a shot, so I was all right.
You got cleared up.
Yeah, within minutes.
Great. You're like tall.
Not really. Have you met me?
No, I have met you twice. On the screen, you were a little tall. This is the normal back and forth banter that I know all of you appreciate before we ever get to any news. But let me be the first to remind you, the first for today, that if you have something to say or want to be heard, be sure to call or text us at 747-333-8977. Again, that's 747-333-8977. And the reason I remember that is because it's literally right on my screen.
Wait,
and everybody that's watching this can see it.
What is it again?
747-333-8977. 8977. How did you ask me that? You should know that number by heart.
Well, you don't save it every week, and now I got it written down.
Yeah, it's because
I'm going to call.
usually the number is not very staticky. So I have to be careful to use it when it's the right time.
It's got some swath, though.
Yeah, staticky swath. It's really good. Want to say hello to everybody that's in the chat. Of course, Mama TBT is in once again, the very first person in. Swathy McFick is in. Of course, our moderator, and I would assume that Mrs. TBT is in somewhere. And that's just a few that I can see. I need to change this to the live chat. Like I said, if you're watching, be sure to jump in and say hi. If you're not watching and you were listening to this on your way to work or wherever, turn it up so everybody can hear it as well. Be sure to hit that thumbs up. Boom. There's at least one person in there that has not. Hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, because that's what helps us help you. And you know what I did?
Nope.
Never mind, because I'm not even going to point it out. I'll fix it at the end of the show.
Okay.
I'll fix it. Yeah, it's not just the microphone. It's also something else that I found, but that's okay. I gotta.
Man, you're off the tracks.
Apparently, I don't know why, but I'm actually looking to see if that microphone. You know what I bet happened? I bet this stupid thing ended up having an update. It updated, and I have to actually restart the entire system.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
But I didn't. So here we are. And now we're using this weird stuff. How was your week? Hey,
so far, so good.
What do you mean so far, so good? It's literally been a week since we had an episode.
Oh, okay. You're talking from the time we quit to the time we began, not this week.
Not like starting Monday, which was a holiday.
It has been hectic at times, but it's all good. This week's been good.
Excellent.
And Friday, I might actually have a pool pump running.
So another week of not having the pool pump.
Right. We had plans to get it hooked up and running last week, but as you know, it rains 24/7 here.
Correct.
And that didn't happen. You don't want to be outside hooking up electrical wiring and plugging it into something, hoping that it'll work while it's raining.
Why not?
I am not I'm Ace, but not Ace Frehley. I don't want to be shocked.
One of my favorite horror movies of all time happens to be called Shocker.
It's a good one.
It is. Pinkerton, right?
That sounds right.
I don't know, something like that. I did something on was it Friday? I did something Friday that I'm sure you haven't.
What would that be?
I mowed.
Oh, you're correct.
I knew it.
I have mowed, just not my yard.
The moderator said, I don't think that's a horror movie title.
Has she seen it? Does she know anything? What does she know?
She doesn't know. She hasn't seen it, because now I'm going to pull it up and I'm going to put up the image of the show, even though I really have no idea what the heck I'm doing.
How many times have you watched it?
Me? I cannot answer that.
Too many to count?
Yes.
I've seen it once.
My gosh. Yeah, 100%. I know what she's referring to. She's referring to Steel Panther's version of Shocker. That's why she says, I don't think that's a horror movie title. So, yeah, two things. Number one, she's right. Number two, it is. I have watched that movie easily, at a minimum, a dozen times.
Wow. That came out in 1987.
Ish. Somewhere around there. I know it was the 80s. Anybody that wants to know, there it is. This really is a movie title. This is Shocker. I got to move it because it's freaking huge, and I covered up both of us, and now I have to make it a better size so we can see it. This is Shocker. This is the cover for the movie, for the one of the best movie soundtracks ever,
That's
in
what
my
makes
opinion.
it. That's one reason it's so good. Oh
Yeah.
wow, I was way off. I was way off.
Was it
That
84?
came out 89.
Oh, we were close. It's still the 80s. So there you go.
I knew I was in high school,
Right.
or close to it. This would have been actually post high school for me.
Has anybody in the chat seen Shocker? Here's the
I
funny
watched it
thing. She may not
on
remember it.
VHS.
She may not remember it because it was in 89 and I couldn't even remember when it came out. Mama TBT has seen this. I know she
Really,
has. Yeah.
really.
Well, or at least maybe the first 5 minutes and then walked away and said, "This is so dumb." But it's a good
Right.
movie.
You know, you're talking about the soundtrack
Oh, which we've talked
and
about
how
on here
good it
before.
is. We have, I think, around Halloween.
Yeah.
Remind me, and I remember the Dudes of Wrath. That was Paul Stanley's little gig with this, wasn't it?
I think so.
Yeah,
I
because he's on
believe it
this.
was. Yeah, because that was written by it's a Desmond Child and Paul Stanley written song. But here's the interesting thing: Paul Stanley, Desmond Child are on the vocals. Rudy Sarzo is on bass.
Ooh, nice.
Vivian Campbell is on guitars, and Tommy Lee was on drums for that song.
Nice.
Yeah. Of course, No More Mr. Nice Guy by Megadeth is on this.
I remember that.
Sword and Stone, which was performed by Bonfire, that was also written by Desmond Child, Paul Stanley, and
Yes,
Bruce Kulick.
because Sword and Stone is a leftover track from Crazy Nights.
Exactly. That was going to be the next trivia.
Yeah, it's an excellent song. There's a bunch of deep tracks off of that era of Kiss that you can find on the internet. That's really cool. Soraya has a track on here. I love Soraya.
Yeah. Sort of Dangerous Toys.
Man.
That was the Ballad of Horace Pinker. So we were right. It was Pinker, something Pinker.
Do you know what this movie cover reminds me of and who that person looks like to me?
I'm sure you'll tell
me.
Do
you remember the WWF wrestler Nails?
Oh, for sure.
That's exactly who that looks like. Nails was a convict in storyline for WWF who was beaten and abused by the big boss man.
Right.
And he came out to get his revenge, but he always wore his orange prison outfit.
Yeah,
like
weirdly.
He was very, very conspicuous in the fact that he had been to prison.
Yeah.
It was like his identity.
Yeah, we'll go with that. Man, such a good movie. See, now I'm going to have to watch it. It's always a toss-up for me to watch Shocker or watch Tombstone.
Ooh, that's a good one, too.
Because both of those I've seen minimum a dozen times. It's kind of like my wife in Back to the Future and Back to the Future 2 and Back to the Future 3.
Right.
Yeah.
The one over my shoulder is the one I've seen multiple times.
Top Gun.
Yeah. Love that movie.
Yeah, it's all right.
It's okay. It made a little money.
It is all right. It's all right. That was the very first movie that I saw with Dolby surround sound.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
And we're like, ooh.
Well, yeah, because that's how it was advertised. That's how it was advertised. In what, 1986?
86.
We're gonna have that movie come out, and it's gonna be the first one in Dolby surround sound. So when the jet's flying here and it goes pie in the movie, you hear it back here. It was amazing. That just showed our age. Welcome.
That too, Top Gun has an amazing soundtrack.
It does, thanks to Harold Fultonmeyer.
Who the heck is that?
and Kenny Loggins.
Yes, yes.
Kenny Loggins was in everything. We could have a whole
Oh,
entire
yes.
episode about Kenny Loggins.
The Top Gun anthem. I love that.
Yeah, Harold Fultonmeyer.
Yeah. Well, Kenny Loggins, he paid a lot of bills with movie soundtrack songs.
Right.
And he's grateful for that because I've seen interviews with him where he talks about having lean years as an artist. In the late 70s, early 80s, right in there, and these things would come around, and he would show up at cattle calls where they just bring lots of songwriters and performers in and have them watch clips of the movie, discuss what they can write a song about, and try to get something submitted.
Yeah.
Danger Zone that he sings was already done. That was already done. But I believe Playing with the Boys was not. I think he helped write that, I believe. I think.
Yeah, if nobody knows who we're talking about, this is the same guy that also did the theme for Miami Vice. Axel F. How do you spell his name? I don't even know. Fultonmeyer. There he is. He is 73 years old.
Wow.
And still kicking.
So get this. And I remember this from the documentary I watched on the movie.
Can I stop you real quick?
Yeah, please do.
Only because I have to correct myself. Axel F was Beverly Hills Cop and not Miami Vice.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I should have said something. I was off in my own land here. Lots of people were considered for doing these songs on the soundtrack for Top Gun. Danger Zone is basically become Kenny Loggins' song, right? We all know that vocal, how he sounds. But get this, I love these types of things. These are who else were considered to do this before Kenny Loggins actually got it. The band Toto, Jefferson Starship, Corey Hart, if you remember him.
Oh yeah,
which he would have nailed it. REO Speedwagon.
Really?
REO Speedwagon, because they were still living high off of High Infidelity at that point. It was still pretty close. They were still in the reenact. Bryan Adams.
Interesting.
And someone named Joe Pizzullo.
Oh, Joe.
That guy, yeah.
Yeah.
Down at the diner, the coffee shop.
Yeah, right down the street.
And and each of them had their own reasons for not doing it. Toto had some legal conflicts and had to pull out. Jefferson Starship pulled out. I think a lot of people were concerned about what they thought were war themes in the movie,
right?
Although it's not really that type of movie. Corey Hart didn't want to do anyone else's material. Kevin Cronin, of all people, thought the notes were too high. I can't sing that. And he's got pretty good vocal range.
Yeah.
And Bryan Adams was one that also thought, pro-military, can't do that, that kind of thing. And to each their own, it worked out. Kenny Loggins is great.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
But
and
I love trivia like that.
As we've mentioned many times, Kenny Loggins was involved in so many soundtracks in the 80s. So, yeah, it's no surprise. One band that is not involved in any soundtracks, and I want to touch on this just a little bit because it's interesting. And this was one of the late articles that we ended up talking about. And it kind of revolves, well, it doesn't it revolves around Judas Priest. Because I think this is something that we could debate easily for 30 minutes. Because Ian Hill, who's the bass player for Judas Priest, basically believes that the band could continue, Judas Priest could continue to exist long after its classic members have all retired. So that got you and I both thinking, would you go see Judas Priest without a single member? Like no Rob Halford or anything. Other than Menudo, I cannot think of a band, and I know they're out there, that literally has no original members in it whatsoever.
Foreigner.
Well, and I knew you were going to say that because that was at the top of my list, but I don't know. Maybe it's different.
Well, the difference with Foreigner, and this is why this works. These types of things work with bands that don't have superstars, and I mean superstars in their lineup. And
Sure.
I'm not dissing Lou Gramm at all. He's the voice of Foreigner, but
Right.
Foreigner is kind of a faceless band in a sense. Everyone knows who Rob Halford is. Rob Halford does guest parts on other people's songs and records. They recorded a cover, War Pigs, not long ago. That was iconic because it was Priest. You know,
But
you get a band like Blackfoot. Blackfoot had a version of itself reincarnated with all new members. But
yeah,
besides, oh gosh darn it, now I can't remember his name, but name a member of Blackfoot.
I
Uh,
guess more of, I don't want to
Ricky
say,
Meglock.
I don't want to say like, I don't want to say a mainstream band or anything like that, but I don't think there's any original members of like Leonard Skinner.
No,
So,
look at Leonard Skinner. I was just going to say that there aren't any.
yeah. Okay, so I retract my statement. However, the answer to the question is no. I would not want to go see Judas Priest without Rob Halford. How?
And when Halford was gone briefly and was replaced by
Yeah,
Ripper Owen,
yeah.
Ripper Owen, that was a little different because you still had Tipton, KK Downing, who were the iconic guitar players in that band, and those albums still did fairly well. Not
But those were still people in the band. It's the same as
right,
Skid Row. They don't have Sebastian
right,
Bach for however many years, but it's still Skid
right,
Row.
correct. And they have, I think, 3 members, right? 3 out of 5 still.
If that, yeah, yeah. But
I think so.
here's another thing. Same thing goes with a powerhouse band like Firehouse, who does not have their lead singer anymore.
No.
But they have Nate Peck, who's literally kicking ass. So it just, I don't know. I would not want to go see Judas Priest. Will we have the opportunity? Probably. Will we have the opportunity to see Kiss without a single original member? 100%.
Maybe.
Calling
You
it
think
now.
so?
Oh, for
They
sure.
talked about it. Paul Stanley in his biography talked about Kiss carrying on long after he is gone.
Right.
And he didn't just mean this Avatar show that they're dreaming up.
Yeah,
He
exactly.
meant auditioning new people to carry that name. There's nothing easier, if you think about it, than sitting on your couch after all these years of being in a band and drawing a paycheck because you licensed that to another young group that wants to go out and carry that torch.
Right.
But you get into all sorts of things. What if they record new music and it becomes part of the canon of Priest or whatever band it is, and then it sounds something totally different?
Right.
But for people like us, yeah, but does it draw any new fans?
I don't know.
I mean, we've talked about this a lot about, is it a cover band now? Is it a tribute band? You got a guy that is trying to sing like Halford and they're playing Priest songs, and I
I'm
mean, what
gonna
is it?
I'm gonna say this later when we talk about the Poison story. But Bret Michaels is quoted in that story, and it really it
It
fits
ties in.
this. Yeah.
Yes.
Where he basically says Poison is nothing but a name without the original members. So is
Well,
Judas Priest just the continuation of a brand, a name without any original member?
but all the power is in that brand and in that
Exactly.
name. They fight. That's why bands fight over these things. That's why you have 2 versions or 3 versions of Rat that go out and do stuff. You
Great
know,
White.
Great White. That's why that's why when you settle a lawsuit, you find a way to get that name in there. Jack Russell's Great White.
Yeah.
You find a name of something that you can use because it's powerful.
Yeah, because
You know,
McDonald's is still McDonald's when I don't have Ronald, Grimace, or the Hamburglar running around. Still McDonald's. It's just a
right,
brand. Nike is still a brand without Michael Jordan.
right, right. But the soul of those bands, like the soul of Poison, has always been Bret Michaels.
Right.
He's the key guy in that band, and that's why they don't tour or do anything without him.
So
It would fail miserably without him.
you said something about could they still get fans, like any new fans? I look at
Right.
a band like Foreigner. I think the difference with Foreigner is I think they did get new fans, but also you got to add the fact that Kelly Hansen was in that band for over 20 years.
Yes, a
So
very long time.
sure, they're going to get new fans. But, if they're not putting out a new album and you're relying on the material that was put out by the original members or by those that were part of that, whether it be, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 members, I don't know. That's a good question. I think that's something we'll end up coming to at some point.
Well, classic rock radio is going through a great period of time right now because these bands can go out and people like you and I will take our kids to these events. I've taken my kids to concerts since I could take them, and that's how new fans generate. They're raised on it the same way we are.
Yeah.
That's why they can sell their catalogs for billions of dollars because those songs are so familiar to everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody. That's why the brand is so important.
Yep.
So that's how they generate new fans. But now I'm wondering how long does that have? How long
That's a
can
good question.
right? How long is this going to last? Is my son, who's going to be 30 soon, is he going to take his son, my grandson, to a Kiss concert in 5, 6 years?
Yeah.
And who's on stage? you know,
Avatars.
there you go.
Yeah.
Holograms,
avatars, all of that. Well, while we're on the subject of concerts, we might as well get this story out of the way because it has been one of our top stories for at least the past 3 to 4 weeks because there's always something going on. And I've already alluded to something that Bret Michaels said, but in a recent interview, Bret Michaels has said that Poison bandmates have agreed that they would not perform under the Poison name without all 4 original members. Now,
that's important.
That is very important because number one, is this for next year? Is this for their next tour? Because it is certainly not for the past. Because as we already know, CC DeVille has been replaced twice, 2 different singers.
Guitar players.
Yeah, 2 different guitar players, Blue Sarsano and Richie
Blues
Kotzen.
Saraceno. Yeah.
So
How did you say it? Sarsano?
whatever, it's how it's spelled.
I always say Saraceno for some reason.
It's sort of like Swatiki or whatever that word was. I don't know. But this is basically Bret's comments are coming just a day after Ricky Rocket once again expressed his optimism that the band would hit the road in 2027 to commemorate what will now be the 41st anniversary of Poison's debut album, Look What the Cat Dragged In. So a week ago tomorrow, so last Thursday, there's been news going around that an offer has been made for Poison to tour in 2027. Bret came out basically, I'm going to paraphrase all of this, and basically said, look, we're not going to talk about this until after Memorial Day. Number one, it's a big 3-day weekend, lots of stuff going on. I'm sure he was touring somewhere, performing. But one of the things that I noticed in what he said, that he says that they'll look into moving discussions of Poison 2027 to next week or this week, which allows him to see if he can move some of the Bret Michaels band shows and special events that are already being contracted for 2027.
Wow.
He goes on to say, and this is something that's been going on for a couple years with his Bret Michaels band.
Yeah, and it's still building.
Right. There's lots of stuff, obviously, that they have to agree on, and there comes a point where a decision will have to be made, because then you got to worry about stage setup and set lists, unless you're just going to do look what the cat dragged in from open track to end track, and then throw in some other stuff.
That's 10 minutes.
Yeah, right. It really is. The promoters and fans, and I tend to agree, nobody would want to see Poison without the original members.
Not
I've always been a big CC fan, and that for me, I want to go and watch him. I think he's a very underrated and excellent guitar player. And I've already seen them once without him, and it wasn't the same. You look at the albums and hear the difference in those.
Did you see him with Blues or Richie?
With Richie, which I'm not taking anything away from Richie. Richie is a great guitar player.
Well, I know what you're saying. Not to get off track here a little bit, but during that tour for Native Tongue, because and you and I have both agreed Native Tongue is a fantastic record.
Yeah.
And Richie Kotzen is all over that record. He wrote a lot of that record. His guitar playing is amazing. But the difference is when they did it live, Richie was allowed to change all the solos. So he didn't play the CC DeVille solo that and that you expected to hear. He played his own solo in his style, which honestly, stylistically, he is not a shredder. It's not that he can't shred. That's just not his thing. So you almost were getting a jazz-infused sound with a solo that you didn't expect to hear.
Yeah. One of the biggest lines out of this interview is Bret says, "I have a great feeling we're all going to attempt to make all of this work for 2027. So maybe by next week, we'll have a little bit more. I'm expecting probably, I'd say within the next month, we'll get more. There's just been a lot going on. And to me, I know we cover this every freaking week, but the reason we do, number one, I'm a huge fan of Poison, always have been. And I want this to happen, because this is another band. I said this 2 weeks ago, I think. We probably won't see them together again after this tour. So this may be it. So if you've never seen Poison, especially back in the heyday of 86 to 88, even into the early 90s, you missed one of the best and most energetic shows you could ever see out of an 80s rock band. Call them hair metal, glam metal, whatever you want to say. They've always been nothing but pure energy and excitement and just fun. It is literally a party going to one of their shows. Yeah, it's going to be an older party. Yeah. So I want this to happen. I want this to happen in the worst way. Even if it's the only concert I go to in 2027 and I have to sit in the lawn, which I will not do, I'll still go. I'll still go.
Those are my people.
Yeah.
I wonder, does it say why they came to this agreement, why they felt like they needed to do it? I like it because it shows some solidarity.
Yeah.
Within that band, and some unity of sorts, because as everyone should know, Poison has not always had a harmonious union with each other.
Right.
They've fought on stage, they've fought backstage, they broke up, they've got back together, people get kicked out, but for them to realize what they have at this point in their career is special, because how many bands have all original members still there, still active, still able to play, and can go out on tour and knock it out of the park? How many? Not many.
Right. Exactly.
So I like it.
I do too. There's no mention of why this was agreed upon or when it was agreed upon, but either way, I agree with it.
Well, I mean,
I wouldn't go. I don't think.
yeah. Would you go to see Ricky Rocket's Poison with Bobby Dahl? At a club.
I here's the thing though. I would go see Rocket Mafia if it was close.
Right. Sure. Because Ricky is talented, and I hear that band is good,
Yeah.
and
So
you'll
I
hear
probably
some
would.
Poison.
Yeah. Guaranteed.
But he's not calling it Poison.
Right. Exactly. And this goes back to our story about Judas Priest. Mama TBT said, basically, wouldn't they become a tribute band? Well, yeah, I think if there were no original members, it becomes a tribute band.
I mean,
but we're not going to have Poison without any of the original members. But
back to Foreigner and Skynyrd, who are touring together this summer, that will be no original members at all.
Yeah.
Now, having said that, we spoke before about Kelly Hansen being there a long time. Most of the people in Foreigner have been in that band 20 years. And, Johnny Van Zant has been the singer in Skynyrd since 91.
Right.
Or before. And that's of course, harken back to the original band.
Yeah.
But he's not original.
Right.
And most of that band none of that band is original. So what is it?
Yeah. Moderator Natalie just made some kind of snide comment, and it says, sounds like this podcast. Bahaha. Number one, I don't know what sounds like this podcast. And number two, I do not know what Bahaha means. It sounds just like it's spelled. Speaking of going on tour, following a triumphant run of sold-out shows, festival appearances, and overwhelming fan demand, AlterBridge have announced the second United States leg of their massive What Lies Within tour. This time, the 18-city trek will run from November until December, and they will be out with Canadian rock outfit Big Wreck and rising outlaw rocker Tim Montana as support. This will be the second leg of AlterBridge. Of course, Miles Kennedy, Mark Tremonti, Brian Marshall, and Scott Phillips. What Lies Within tour comes in support of AlterBridge's latest musical chapter and promises a career-spanning set list featuring fan favorites alongside new material that showcases the band's continued evolution. Tickets for all of those dates go on sale this Friday at 10 a.m. And of course, VIP packages and additional information can be found through the band's official website, alterbridge.com. Where are they going, you ask? I'm glad you asked. Again, remember, this is only 18 dates. Not going to go through all 18, but I will tell you, if you are in the Indiana area, they are going to be not close, with the exception of November 10th in Cleveland, Ohio, November 12th in Milwaukee, or as Alice Cooper says, Milwaukee. Or you could drive over to St. Louis, much like Ace did not too long ago, and go see them on November 17th. Other than that, it is a very large West Coast, other side of the Mississippi River, Arizona, California, Oregon, Washington, Utah, Colorado, California, and then they will round it out December 5th in Reno at the Silver Legacy Grand Exposition Hall. AlterBridge, of course, on January 9th, released their self-titled 8th studio album. Self-titled means it's called AlterBridge. Duh. Very good album. 12 brand new tracks. And I would, other than their debut and maybe a couple other tracks, I would almost venture to say this is the best album they've ever put out. Oh, because it's so good.
I really wish they would blow up here bigger than they do. They are such a good band, and these dates are typical for what they get in the U.S., which are theaters and small not clubs, but music halls and stuff like that. I really wish they'd get at least an arena tour.
Yeah, and I don't understand. I don't understand why they don't. I don't know. I mean, this is literally Creed, but with a different singer. But yet they don't call themselves Creed. Anyway, that's a whole different thing. Real quick, want to say hi to Ozzy, who jumped into the chat. Appreciate you saying hi. Moderator just asked you where you're from. When she says Y-A, that means you. Where are you from? Where are you from? Either way, what is with her tonight?
Wait, did you say Ozzy?
Bah-ha-ha. I did say Ozzy. Do I jump to that story now?
Wow. I mean, I'm already creeped out or freaked out. Nothing against Ozzy because...
Good call, though.
Yeah, what if?
I know. If you watched the American Music Awards the other night, you already know this. If you didn't, because, well, it sucks. The only good thing about the show was the fact that legendary English rocker Billy Idol received a Lifetime Achievement Award from the American Music Awards. Of course, this is also the same year that he's been named among the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame's class of 2026 inductees. Billy Idol was given this honor of Lifetime Achievement at the 52nd AMAs this past weekend, celebrating with his first ever performance at the award show, of course, alongside his longtime guitarist, Steve Stevens.
Your boy.
If you have not watched the 6-minute and 19-second video of his performance, they performed a classic medley of Eyes Without a Face and Dancing with Myself.
Nice.
In addition, Billy Idol is going back out on tour for just a little bit longer. This summer, starting on July 8th, he is going out and hitting numerous spots. But the cool thing is who he has going with him. 2 names out of the 4 that I'm going to say are very interesting. Number 1, Devo,
who've had a resurgence lately.
Yes. Now I'm waiting for Duran Duran, to come back around, and the Pet Shop Boys and all that. Villanelle is another band, as well as Grocery Bag. And the number 1 spot that I want to go is Susanna Hoffs. If you do not know who Susanna Hoffs is, then you obviously have never walked like an Egyptian. Susanna Hoffs, of course, was the vocalist for the Bangles. They will be going out on this summer tour, not the Bangles, but Susanna Hoffs. We'll be going out with Billy Idol. Lots of dates. They're all 4 of them will not be on all of the dates, but
she'll be at the St. Louis show at the Hollywood Casino.
Yeah, hitting numerous places, bunch of amphitheaters and arenas, starting off July 8th in Calgary, Alberta, Minnesota, Connecticut, New York, blah, blah, blah. August 28th, 29th, September 2nd, 4th, and 5th, he'll be at the Fontainebleau. That's my French accent. In Las Vegas for a what looks like a 5-night performance there. And then he'll hit a few other places, including St. Louis, as Ace mentioned, Grand Rapids, Michigan, Kansas City, Missouri, Arkansas, at the Walmart Amphitheater. It's kind of funny. And then rounding this out, September 27th in Albuquerque, New Mexico, at the First Financial Credit Union Amphitheater. When did I go see Billy Idol? A year ago? A year and a half ago?
Yes, last summer. Last
August. Summer. Man, what a freaking show. That's all I can say. What a freaking show. And yes, Natalie, I did say Grocery Bag. I can't tell you anything about him. I just don't know. Billy Idol, if you haven't had a chance, Grocery Bag. And why is it Grocery Bag when there's no SH? Shouldn't it be Grocery Bag? Because it's a C? Speaking of that, there's a guy on TikTok that I watched that does the English language, and he's absolutely hilarious. And that's all I got to say about that. Billy Idol, really? Go see him. It's amazing.
It sounds great.
It does.
Sounds great.
I can't explain it. It's good. All right, before we get to our song about or our news about Ozzy, since
It
Ozzy
is
is
grocery, by the way. It's not grocery. It is grocery.
that depends on where you're from and where you put the emphasis on whichever syllable.
Yeah, right. And we never speak that way here in Indiana. We speak terrible.
Even when I lived in Iceland, it was grocery. Actually, it was something like that. So President, the mystery masked
the
band,
president.
they have finally announced their debut full-length studio album, which will be entitled Blood of Your Empire. And they also debuted a brand new song with video called Doom Loop. The new album is scheduled to arrive on September 4th. And if you have not listened to Doom Loop, do yourself a favor and listen to it. It is probably one of the headier new songs from the band. All of them have been good. All of them have been monster good. I love every single song
Right.
that's came out.
And they're all well received.
And I wait, just like every other artist, I wait for a song to come out and be like, you know what? It's okay. This one is a banger just like the rest of them. It starts off with one of the most interesting spoken word introductions that I think I have ever heard. And those words are, there is no satisfactory explanation of time. Why? Because it doesn't really exist. The tragedy in time is that we only understand its value after it's become a memory. What? The song itself,
profound.
the song itself is a steadily driving electro rock jam that delves deeper into the ideas the introductory statement provided. I'm not going to go into all the lyrics, but this is a song that you have to watch the video. You need to listen to the song, then you need to listen to the song, then you need to watch the video in that order. And then you need to pull up the lyrics and read the lyrics while you're listening to the song and not watching the video, because you can't watch the video because you're trying to read the lyrics. Did you follow?
I did.
Okay. The song is really about the strange tragedy of time, how we spend our lives chasing it, wasting it, and fearing it, only to realize its value once a moment is gone, says President, the lead singer. The Blood of Your Empire album, of course, Doom Loop may be the latest installment after they've already released Angel Wings and also Mercy. Both of those songs have been out there for fans to sample. And now, of course, we get word of this full 10-song studio album. In trying to get a description of the album, Blood of Your Empire was born out of my struggle with existential crisis and trying to make sense of belief, mortality, and humanity's relationship with faith. Religion has inspired incredible compassion, purpose, and beauty in the world, but it has also been responsible for unimaginable suffering and bloodshed throughout history. This album lives in the tension between those two truths. Writing it became a way for me to comfort the fear, confusion, and questions I've carried for years and turn them into something I'm truly proud of. If these three songs that we've already listened to are any indication, the next 7 are going to be just amazing. So look for that September 4th, Blood of Your Empire from President. I now have to cough.
Yeah, I am curious about the use of the cross of Lorraine in the artwork.
Oh, absolutely.
The artwork they're using is a painting that's in the Louvre, the Battle of Poitiers.
Good job.
But in the painting they've inserted the cross of Lorraine. I wonder what that's about. But that's for us to track down a rabbit hole and find out what's going on.
Moderator Natalie is officially banned because she is never to use those two numbers in any sequence together during this podcast. And it's the numbers that come after 5 and before 8. I'm going to ban her. Let's get into our last story for the last 5 minutes of the show, as AI-powered Ozzy Osbourne is supposed to be going all around the world and talk to fans. He will answer you in his own voice.
Ozzy in the chat. This is why I was concerned. Ozzy
Exactly.
in the chat. I wanted to make sure you were not AI Ozzy.
According to License Global, Jack and Sharon Osbourne confirmed at this week's Licensing Expo 2026 in Las Vegas that the Osbourne family has partnered with a company called Hyperreal to create what Jack Osbourne called the digital DNA of Ozzy Osbourne: voice, image, and movement. Hyperreal is a company that describes itself as powering ownership, control, performance, and monetization of identity across digital ecosystems. It's kind of scary how it's really very accurate, says Jack. He will exist digitally as himself for as long as we have computers. You could shoot a template for a commercial, literally prompt what you want digital Ozzy to do in that commercial, and you just drop it in. It's that simple. Sharon adds, you can ask Ozzy anything and he will answer in his own voice. And the answers will be what Ozzy would have said. We're going to take it all around the world. People can talk to him and he will talk back. I do not know how to feel about this.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why. Why do we need this? Do we need this? Is this? I mean, why would the Osbournes want this? Why would Sharon want this? Other than, I mean, we don't need to worry about keeping Ozzy's legacy alive. That's in his music. That's in the music of other people. I mean, people are still talking about Ozzy, and he's passed away quite a while now. I don't know if this is some sort of grief exercise. I don't want to assume.
Why do we have everything Kiss? It's marketing.
Right. I didn't want to go. I didn't want to go into the money aspect.
Well, sure. Okay. Yeah. We can stay out of that for sure.
No, it needs to be talked about because that's obviously going to be there. I didn't want to insult anyone by assuming right away it's money.
Sure.
But that aspect is going to be there, and you know that.
Absolutely. Of course, Ozzy is known globally as the Prince of Darkness, and from redefining heavy metal with Black Sabbath to building a solo career that became a global phenomenon, Ozzy's influence has reached across generations, geographies, and cultures, and I think this is just a way to keep to keep his legacy out there, but also give fans a chance to still interact with what was Ozzy. I mean, I've not seen an official release, so I don't know how they're going to brand this or market it, but in a way, it's kind of cool. You know, they will do this for us. There will be a virtual Weekly Pour podcast, episodes 6,321.
Here's what I'm concerned about.
You have like 30 seconds to get your point out.
Well, this can't happen. What if they go ahead and officially sanction a new Ozzy Osbourne record and it's created through AI? I'm telling you, there's AI music out there already that either sounds like something you've heard before, or they can create a version of Van Halen, which I've heard recently, and it's pretty close. It's pretty close.
I don't know.
I mean, why not? We got an avatar. We've got AI. Let's have new music that sounds like Blizzard of Oz era.
Is that where we're going? Could we turn this podcast into an AI podcast?
I'm AI right now.
That explains a lot. Maybe that's why my microphone wasn't working, because I'm not really here. Maybe our moderator is AI.
That would be a blessing.
It really would. Is my screen dirty?